Hi everyone, my name is Ksenia and I've been working in chemistry for over 15 years. On this channel, I'm explaining the most important chemical topics briefly and in simple terms. In this video, I will talk about what neutralization reaction is and show how to write it using several examples. A neutralization reaction is a chemical reaction between an acid and base resulting in formation of salt and the water. Let's dive deeper into what acids and bases are. Simply put, an acid is a substance that produces hydronium ions in a water solution. Or to simplify further, an acid is a donor of protons. Because acids release the H+ ions in a water solution, their pH is less than 7. One of the most common acids is hydrochloric acid. When we dissolve hydrogen chloride, which is a gas, in water, HCl molecule dissociate into hydrogen cations and chloride anions. Due to the ease of this process, hydrochloric acid is a very strong acid. If an acid is a proton donor, then a base is a proton acceptor. Bases are a large group of compounds, including water-soluble bases known as alkalis. In water, alkalis produce hydroxide ions, which results in a pH greater than 7. For example, potassium hydroxide easily dissolves in water and dissociates into OH- ions and potassium plus ions. Due to the ease of this process, potassium hydroxide is a strong base. When an acid reacts with alkali, they neutralize each other, forming salt and water. So let's look at two examples. Hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide. Hydrochloric acid reacts with sodium hydroxide and in this reaction produces sodium chloride and water. In aqueous solution, hydrochloric acid dissociates into hydrogen cations and chloride anions. And sodium hydroxide, which is alkali, dissociates into sodium cations and hydroxide anions. When mixed, H+ ions combine with OH- ions to form water, and sodium plus ions combine with chloride anions to form sodium chloride, which is table salt. Before reaction, we have a strong acid with a pH less than 7 and strong base with pH more than 7. However, the products of this reaction have a neutral solution. That's why this reaction is called neutralization reaction. And second example. Sulfuric acid and potassium hydroxide give us potassium sulfate and water. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid, and in a water solution it's dissociating into hydrogen ions and sulfate ions. Potassium hydroxide is a strong base, dissociating into potassium ions and hydroxide ions. Mixing these solutions, H+ ions combine with OH- ions to form water, and potassium ions combine with sulfate ions to form potassium sulfate. Note the two molecules of potassium hydroxide are needed to fully neutralize sulfuric acid, because one molecule of this acid contains two hydrogen atoms. Therefore, in the reaction equation, I need to put the coefficient of 2 before potassium hydroxide and coefficient of 2 before water. In the products, we again have salt and water. The original substances neutralize each other and form products with a pH of 7. This was the simplest examples of neutralization reactions when we considered an alkali, a base that is soluble in water. Now I will give you an example of neutralization reaction with a basic oxide which is not soluble in water. Let's take a hydrochloric acid as an example and write chemical equation with magnesium oxide. We need to place coefficient of 2 before hydrochloric acid to balance this equation. And now let's see how this reaction occurs. Magnesium oxide is insoluble, so I will represent it as a solid substance where magnesium ions are bonded ionically with the oxygen ions. Hydrogen chloride in the water acts as a proton donor. The protons combine with the oxygen ions from magnesium oxide to form water. Notice that we necessarily need two hydrogen cations to form one water molecule. That's why we see the coefficient of 2 before hydrochloric acid in the reaction equation. And the chloride ions from hydrochloric acid combine with magnesium ions to form magnesium chloride. In a summary, a neutralization reaction occurs between an acid and base, producing a salt and water. For reactions between acids and alkalis, the general equation is hydrogen cations plus hydroxide anions gives us water. If the acid reacts with insoluble basic oxide, salt and water are also formed. But in this reaction, the general equation looks like this. 2 hydrogen plus O2 minus gives us water. That's it for today. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It helps me to grow my channel and create more educational content. See you next time.